We are going to be starting out our afternoon sessions with Jeff Klann and a I2B2 update, giving us some details on an upcoming I2B2 release. So Jeff, take it away.
All right. Wow. I haven't done anything yet. Thanks. Yeah, so I am going to go through 35 slides in 15 minutes, so this is going to be an interesting journey. This is an update on I2B2, and this is the acknowledgement slide of all of the many people who have been involved in I2B2 over its 20-year history. I2B2, I think we all know, is a backbone of clinical research at a lot of medical centers around the US and beyond. You can see the map on the top right. I think we put together in 2022, and the numbers have been growing since then. And on the bottom right, you can see the ENACT network, which is a large swath of our US customers. We've been releasing I2B2 on a fairly regular cadence in the last few years, about annually since 1.8 came out in 2023. And today or yesterday afternoon, there is a release candidate of 1.8.3 out that we are happy to announce today. I'm going to review briefly what we've done in the 1.8 series of I2B2 and introduce 1.8.3. So 1.8, the first part of 1.8 was overhauling the user experience. So a completely redesigned user interface was written with modern backend components, like JavaScript components, and all kinds of new enhancements have been added every version since. 1.8.1, we started to focus on data export, and we created a system where you could request and then generate exports of what looked like subsets of the I2B2 fact table based on a cohort definition. 1.8.2, we added custom table creation where you could create analytic tables and define aggregations, and it had a lot of customization features. And 1.8.3, we're trying to close the loop for large-scale deployments with integration of full monitoring and administrative oversight for enterprise environments. So we're trying to make the administrative tools better and the monitoring tools. I'm going to skip that slide. That gives me some extra detail. So platform upgrades. So the star indicates this is a 1.8.3 thing. So every release, we upgrade the versions of the backend platform, and we are now, as of 1.8.3, at Java 21. We were at 17 the last release. We're still using Wildfly 34 and Access 2v2. We also have a new continuous integration pipeline using GitHub workflows that does checking of the entire build every time we make a commit. So that's on our side, but we are keeping up with the times in terms of continuous integration and doing security scans before every release as well. The new I2B2 UI, which again started 3 years ago, and looked like this prior. This is version 1.7, a kind of a classic Commodore 64. Anyone remember that system? A blue interface. And now 1.8.0, it's modern layout, modern components. Everything is draggable and resizable. 1.8.3, we've added a lot of new breakdowns. I wanted to highlight this NIH enrollment table breakdown. So anyone who's done an NIH grant proposal that is human subjects knows that you have to put together this very meticulously defined table of the cohort of interest and their demographic characteristics. Now, I2B2 can generate that for you as a breakdown. This particular table, you'll note, is not very interesting. They're males and females with no reported race, but more complicated examples are possible. The breakdown interface in the web client has been completely redesigned, and this is thanks to mass CPR and the work that Griffin Weber's been spearheading. But we've managed to inherit a lot of that with now there are cool little bar graphs next to the table breakdowns. And there's the opportunity to choose different visualization types. You can view bar graphs as a pie chart or a table summary, or download the CSV. This adds a lot of new power. These graph types, there are no breakdowns shipped with I2B2 that use these graph types, but these are in the web client, and you could define a breakdown that shows a pathogen timeline, like a line chart. And actually, that is something that is part of Mass CPR. The new I2B2 admin dashboard, I think, was released in the 1.8.1 release, but lots of new features in this release, because again, we're focusing on enhancing the administration of I2B2. So now you can choose, this is, I don't have like a circle around this. I don't know if you can see my pointer, but on the left side screenshot, on the lower part, you can see this new little line that says authentication method. And that's actually huge, because before, if you wanted to configure an I2B2 user to use a federated authentication like NTLM v2, you had to manually add a bunch of parameters for that user into the user parameters section and put in values for those. But now, the parameters are added for you automatically when you pick that authentication method from the dropdown. The defaults can be set in the system as well. And overall, parameter handling and user editing has improved quite a bit. There are now user parameters that allow you to change the project defaults for almost every option checkbox. So you can, from the admin client, create a parameter that will show whether patient counts are on or off by default in that project. So a lot more configurability. On the right side, you can see there's some new enhancements to the user editor as well. There's that little doorway icon on the penultimate user going down. That means the user is currently logged in. You can terminate their session if you're feeling so inclined as an administrator. And also you can lock a user so they can't run queries. There is also a project creation tool that has been enhanced. It's a full end-to-end piece now that will allow you to completely create project definition, including pointing to your data sources and database right from the admin tool. And kind of the headline feature of 1.8.3 is the monitoring dashboard, which has a couple of different components. This is a screenshot of the overview dashboard. So it's showing all projects. There are 45 projects in this installation of I2B2, and it gives you information about the number of users, how many new users there are over a past number of days, how many login attempts failed. And then if you select a particular project, it adds some more details, gives you a graph of query activity by month and top user query activity over a specified period of time. And you can also, right from this dashboard, audit the queries, look at the query runtime, the patient counts, the types of queries that are being run. Of course, an administrator could log into the project and look at the previous queries because they have access to all those previous queries, but this is like very integrated and very streamlined to be able to do quick auditing of your I2B2 instance. I wanted to remind everyone about the data export feature that was introduced in 1.8.1 and then enhanced in 1.8.2 with this cool new table designer that you can see on the left side, and the request manager that you can see toward the right. Users can design a table for defining exactly what they want, down to the aggregation. Are you interested in existence? Or are you interested in the number of occurrences or the first date this occurred? And you can request data using that table template. And then there's a request management plugin that managers can use to review query requests and generate exports. Another part of our roadmap is to maintain this I2B2 on OMOP support. And as you can see, supporting OMOP gives us a much larger network to draw on. So you can see the OMOP network in the upper right on that map. And this is an ability that I2B2 has theoretically had for some time, but in I think 1.8.1, we ship it with all the connectors needed to run it on top of an OMOP data model, including the enact OMOP ontologies that really enable this to be used in a practical way. Digital twin, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Griffin Weber is going to come up later and talk about computational phenotyping. There's also a loyalty cohorts module that helps you find patients that are more likely to have complete data in the medical record. That digital twin package is available as a separate download from the website. So for more information, as of yesterday, the release candidate is available as source code. You can go to the GitHub and the releases pages and download the individual pieces. The actual release we hope to get out by the end of the month. So i2b2.org, which Mitch will talk about in a moment, has been revamped. i2b2.org software is where you have always been and are now still able to get the downloads from. The release candidate is not there yet because only the source code has been released. We are transitioning our wiki to i2b2.atlassian.net in the cloud, and that dovetails with the new website that we'll hear about soon. And there's also, of course, the Google group where you can ask any question you want, not just about installing i2b2. And then source code at GitHub and Jira at Atlassian.net. And we encourage people to submit pull requests and develop features. And we've been a bit remiss in monitoring this and noticed as we were packaging up this release that there are like 4 or 5 pull requests that we need to review. So thank you if you've submitted a pull request, and we'll be looking at those soon. So I2B2 1.8.3, we're hoping for the end of the month. And I think that was 13 minutes, and I got through all the slides. So thank you very much. Any questions?
Okay. That's absolutely delicious. And I'm just wondering on, I mean, the limitations of OMOP, the data normalization problems, and like clarity, connecting from Epic, clarity to, and something about LOINC and document encounter details, you know, so we have an NLP path into notes. Where are you thinking about that in terms of like getting structured data out of unstructured into like normalized space of?
Yeah, that's a huge question.
No, just a really brief one.
I2B2 people in the community have attacked all of these things over the years. They're all in kind of different states. There is a blob column in the fact table, so you can put notes in the blob.
Russ Waitman and the LOINC guys did a really good job on that.
Yeah.
That on top. Data model. But.
Yeah. There's some notes repositories. MGB has a notes repository, kind of using this type of technology. And then you were also asking about LOINC document?
Data normalization, yeah, for getting unstructured data into structure with a pipeline where you give us like very controlled metadata around the encounter that then we can then attack with large language models on these docs, docs. No.
That sounds like a great idea for a project. I'm going to pick your brain about that later.
Hello, Jeff. That's great. Thank you so much. I just wanted to say, I think that this 183, the changes that you enumerated, so many, and I think so brilliant, that why is this not version 1.9 or version 2?
Well, thank you. On behalf of the entire team that did all this work. All right.